Hey, welcome to this episode of Flourish Life Ministries podcast. I want to thank you for logging in today. We're just joining with us as we start our study, and we're calling it a call to missions. Everybody's called to do something. We're called to pray, called to give, some are called to even go. And so we want to encourage you to lend your ear to the message today. The first missionaries we have is DuWayne and Cara Lee. Now, a little background. DuWayne used to be in my youth group years ago. His dad was actually our lead pastor at the church, and I've just always loved him and his heart for serving the Lord, and it's fun to interview him and his wife now and hear about what God is doing and how He's orchestrating their lives to go onto college campuses and encourage students closer to God. Stay tuned, enjoy this episode, and let us know what you think about it. We sure had fun with it. Hey everyone, welcome to Missions Week.
Yeah, day one.
And so at Flourish Life Ministries, we just wanted to say thank you for jumping on with us and listening. We've got some exciting guests with us. We have DuWayne and Cara Lee, and they're here to talk with us. They're part of a missions group called Chi Alpha. Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, Chi Alpha is how are you going to explain it? How would you explain it?
We're a campus ministry that focuses on college students. We spend all of our time at different colleges across the world, honestly. We're stationed in Tulsa. We spend all of our time at TU and TCC campuses. And what we do is we have outreaches where we meet new students. We invite them into Bible studies where we get to disciple them and just share the gospel in a very close community. Yeah. And we have fun events too. We have board game nights where students stay up till 2 a.m. playing board games.
Too late, yeah.
And
lots of free coffee,
lots of free coffee,
free
food, and it's just a great chance for students to meet other people who are Christians and find community that comes from Christ. Yeah. And so, yeah.
I think what I love about Chi Alpha is the fact that, and coming, this is airing a month later, but with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, he was an evangelist, just like showed up, and that's kind of what I would assume. He shows up, he does debates, he has conversation, but then he leaves. Yeah. And anybody throughout that time who come to a knowledge of Jesus Christ, they're just kind of there.
Yeah, they are.
With Chi Alpha, you guys are developing relationships and you're giving them a place to belong and a family to stand with.
You're creating that Christian community.
Yeah. And both of those are needed. You still need people to come in and encourage, just like we have evangelists in church. But you also have to have those roots where you say, come be here in Chi Alpha, root with us, let's be family, and let's stand with each other. And I know whenever students are moving in and youth pastors have kind of let you guys know who's coming ahead of time, you're able to help some of those students during move-in day and build relationships that way too. So I'm a big Chi Alpha fan, and me and Brandy, and here's what we're going to tell you. This isn't a brag, but we want you to understand this. We are not bringing in random missionaries. We have vetted these people.
We know them. DuWayne
was found us on the street.
DuWayne was actually in our youth group, but these are people who we support prayer and financially. We're telling you that because they're worthy to sow seed into.
Yeah. So if what they're talking about touches your heart and you want to get involved, we're going to put their giving links down below. And so again, we're sharing 5 different people this week. And so if there's anybody that you're like, man, that really speaks to my heart, then you'll be able to click on their links and know that you're sowing into a vetted, like these aren't just weirdos. they're good.
We're the weirdos on this side.
Yeah. So. Well, I was about to say, we're weirdos too. Like I think that's, honestly, that's kind of,
if you're doing, I have to be foolish for Christ.
Yeah.
It does take a certain level of weird to be a missionary, doesn't it?
Now, have you ever felt like that with Chi Alpha? Like, you're not just getting the superstars of the college or whatever, but you're getting, and I'm going to say this, and some people would find this offensive, but because I'm one of them, I don't. But it's like the group of misfits.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's funny you say that. Destry Dobbs, he's our director. Him and I have kind of had these kind of conversations before, and I think it's because the people who got it all together don't really seek out community because they have what they need. They don't really need anything else. Yeah. It's the misfits who are looking for support. It's the misfits that are looking for love and friends.
We say misfits intentionally because we were the misfits that needed that support. So like we say misfits with so much love.
Yeah.
Because we were the misfits.
Right, and I'm saying that too, like, you know, and for most of our people who know us, I was homeschooled and just backwards kid kind of deal. So misfits are one of those like close to my heart. We literally have a church that we love to death and they watch us all the time. But it's one of those things of like I think it's our first or second, I don't remember. I think it was my first revival series we did there. I was just like, y'all like the Island of Misfit Toys. And they laughed and loved that. Like,
they were like, oh man, that is us. Yeah. And like, it was like a badge of pride for them. Like, no, we are that. Like, we have come together as people from all different walks of life. And like, that's what the church is supposed to be. That's what Christian community is supposed to be. Is a bunch of people who don't really fit anywhere, but somehow fit together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's grown together as a family for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've got a series of questions we're going to ask you. This is great conversation so far. This turned out better than I thought it would. I thought I would just be getting razzed the whole time. So the first question is, tell us about your missions work and the organization you're involved in. Now we've touched a little bit on that, but is there more you'd like to say about it?
So Chi Alpha is a national organization, but we specifically work in Tulsa for Tulsa Chi Alpha. We have the unique opportunity that most Chi Alpha groups don't have. Most Chi Alpha groups are specific to one college campus, but we in Tulsa, we have several smaller campuses all in our like a 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
And instead of having small teams for each one, we have one big team that tries and focuses on as many of those college campuses as it possibly can. So each, it creates a more unique and diverse community and culture, because we have TCC, which has 4 different college campuses in Tulsa, and each one of those has their own culture.
Yeah.
We have TU, which is our largest campus, and our largest individual campus. TCC actually has more students than TU, but TU is more concentrated. And so bringing all these students together and being able to disciple them, as you were kind of hitting on, one of our favorite like quotes is, we want to make disciples who make disciples who make disciples, you know? And so that's usually spent just living life with a student, is just inviting them in and saying, hey, let's go spend an hour. I got to go run groceries. Is there anything else you need to pick up? Let's do that together. And we just invite them in to our life and get to pour into them, pray for them. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with students just going to pick up a can of beans, you know? And it's so good and so genuine to what the students really need. So
I like that.
Yeah,
Life on life.
Yeah, because his one-on-one encounters are usually where people are going to be more open anyways. It's like you get them in and create that community, but then letting them into your life too.
Yeah.
You're giving them those opportunities to open up in that more private setting.
Yeah, not on our list, but like, do the kids, when they see you guys and they see you bring, you got a little boy, are they like, that's our kid too?
They love him. They love him so much. So just today we were at church and we had a big group of college students come with us because another staff member was having her baby dedicated. And so all the students came, showed up, and we had like 3 students came and got to buy us, and they're just carrying around the church. And I said, okay, just don't leave the building, but they love him. He was sick last week, and TU was playing a game. They were playing OSU, and so we had 3 of my girls came upstairs to our house while he was sick, and I was like, guys, he's sick. You don't have to come be here. And they were like, no, we don't want you to be alone. So they came and watched the game with us, and they're wiping his snotty nose, and it's just kind of, they are family. Like they really are family. Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
What was the, going to our questions again, what was it that stood out about Chi Alpha that got you both involved?
It's a good question.
Yeah, definitely the misfit situation, right, is like a huge part of it. when I came to college, so I graduated from TU in December 2022. And so I was in Chi Alpha for 3 years out of my 4 in college. And when I came to college, my faith was very like survival mode faith. Like I was coming out of a really unsteady household, and kind of my relationship with Jesus was really grounded in like, we're just surviving this together. Like he's the buoy and I'm just holding on for dear life. And so when I came to Chi Alpha, it was different. It was like the first safe kind of home environment where my faith became like, this is actually a rhythm of life. It's not just survival mode all the time. It's like these people are a support system and they're consistent. Like they're in your life, for real in your life. And so like being in a Bible study and reading the word and discussing it with other people, being exposed to other people, and also like exposing yourself to other people as a believer, I think I just realized how transformational that was. I mean, it was transformational for me, and I saw so many miracles come just from having that support. You've got people praying for you. My dad was an addict. He's actually in recovery now, and like all of my Chi Alpha family, they got to see that happen. They prayed with me for that to happen. And so it's like a home life that you become a part of, and it's like for a lot of students like me, it's like the first steady, reliable environment in which to follow Jesus and to build that daily practice. And I think I just was like, that's it, right? Like that's the stuff. That's like the good sauce, you know?
Yeah.
So
that is beautiful. I love that. Because when you're part of a when something's transformative to you, then how can I not
can't keep this
doing
to myself?
This?
Yeah.
Wow, I
And
love
so that was your experience at first as a student coming into Chi Alpha.
Yeah.
And so that's really neat. I
So
want to make that a little
motivated
bit.
her to go in. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of other college students that come into Chi Alpha with a very similar story, and they have a very similar experience. And it's great getting to see that change happen to each generation that comes through. My story is a little bit unique. Chi Alpha kind of sought me out. I went to OSU IT for college, and there wasn't a Chi Alpha there. And I was sought out and asked to help start a Chi Alpha. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, what is that? What do you mean? And so throughout my college career, I had people discipling me and teaching me what it meant to lead a Bible study, what it meant to disciple, and how to evangelize to people on the street. And through that, I also was kind of brought into this community, maybe against my will a little bit, but I was brought into this community, and then whenever I got to a point to where all my friends graduated or dropped out of college or left or whatever, I was left all alone, and I was dealing with loneliness and depression. I had Chi Alpha there, already there, just like pouring into me, and it was really the only thing that kept me going was having that there. And I'm just really grateful that they just took me in. I like to say kidnapping, but I know a lot of people don't like that kind of terminology, but they just kind of adopted me.
It's not the most favorable term for it. But they brought you in, and
just like you guys were talking about how you help these kids through transition and from like being high school and at home to being on campus and out on their own. And so like just like you had that same help through that life transition of like, now I'm done with college, what do I do? And
so then you went from being students. What was it like to go from students to then leaders? I mean, you have a huge, this isn't just great, now you promote and you do it. There's a lot that goes into that.
It's a big faith step,
They
right?
they have to train you and teach you and guide you.
So I actually didn't go straight from being a student to working in Chi Alpha. I worked 2 years in the industry, and during that time I was like, I still want to be a part of that community. I still want to pour in, and so I volunteered while I worked. But I knew like God wanted, like I there was something more, and so I prayed about it, and God called me to do the Chi Alpha internship, which is just 9 months you spend on a college campus, and you learn about evangelism, theology, and kind of the nitty-gritty of how Chi Alpha works.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and did that for a year at OSU, and that was probably the most transformative year of my life, where it really challenged me, and I learned so much during that year, and I'm really grateful for it. But yeah, I went through that, and immediately following, I went and started working for Tulsa Chi Alpha. So,
Yeah.
And what about you?
Well, so when I graduated, I started working. So I was working in a school. I was a TA for a Montessori classroom. And I was very conflicted. I had felt a previous call to missions, but I didn't know what that looked like. And I started working in this classroom, and I loved it so much. Like, I love working with kids. Love it so much. But we met through Chi Alpha, and I guess we were together, 3-4 months maybe?
2 months, actually.
It wasn't very long.
Yeah.
He felt like God was calling him to do Chi Alpha, and I prayed about it, and I was like, okay, Lord, like, if he does Chi Alpha, I don't think I'm ever going to escape. Like, this is just,
That's ministry.
But, if there's something else I need to do, I should probably know it before I commit to this guy who's like, Chi Alpha's my thing. And I prayed about it, and I felt so much peace and confirmation that, just keep doing what I'm doing and wait, and God had a plan. And so, he went into the internship, and then we got married when he came back to Tulsa, and we stayed in Tulsa, and I was working, but I was still, like, in a student leader kind of capacity. Like, I was still leading Bible studies, and I just couldn't stop. Every time that, like, Cynthia would come to me and be like, okay, so are you doing a Bible study next semester? And I think, like, should I stop and just be a full-time, like, at my job? And I could not do it. Like, I could not let it go, and I just felt so much... The Lord was just like giving me a heart to keep going with Chi Alpha. And so after 2 years, after we had our first baby, and he was working full time, and I'd been doing this kind of in a volunteer capacity, I prayed about it, and I was like, I think it's just time. I need to just let go of my job, which was very hard. It was, over half of our income.
Right.
So I let go of my job. I turned in my resignation and told them I wouldn't be back in the fall. Which was very hard. They were very not happy with me. I had a lot of people coming to me like, are you sure this is what God wants you to do? A lot of conversation of like, you're so good with kids. Like, are you sure that God doesn't want you to teach or whatever? And I was like, no, because my heart for students only grows. And my heart is so inclined that way. When I pray about it, I can't redirect my passion to serve Christ is in this direction. And so we moved into a teeny tiny little spot, and we started, doing the thing. So, yeah.
And so even though, that was so scary to let go of your job and, such a big leap of faith, how have you seen God be faithful?
So much.
Through that.
So much. I mean, endless, obviously, financial provision. Endless examples of how God has been so faithful. Random things, we had over the summer, because a huge part of that stress, of course, is financial.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so over the summer, we were praying, and we were, speaking at churches and talking to people about Chi Alpha. And Cynthia and Desher are actually our neighbors. They live right next to us. And so they got a grocery order in with all this food that they won't eat. And it had my name on it. It said Cara Lee on it. And it filled our freezer for, I kid you not, almost a month with food. And we were so stressed, and I remember just thinking, God cares for us so deeply and specifically and intimately that he just filled our freezer with all this food from a random misplaced grocery order that had my exact initial and last name on it. And so, just confirmations like that helped us really feel comfortable, following Jesus into the unsafe place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
And the life-changing students, of course, is
it fuels you. You're
absolutely.
I'll give up something else, God. What do you mean to give up if we can keep seeing this kind of change? Yeah.
That right there, I'm like, let's go another 20 minutes, because just the faith journey. And what I hate about this is if I bring up this conversation whenever we go to visit churches, because a big way you guys raise money is going to churches and letting people know what you're doing and trying to gain sponsorship. And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But it seems like every time you go, you want to tell them about, let me tell you what God did in our
Yeah.
finances, because it's such a huge place that he works.
Yeah.
And then there's this guilt of like, oh, here we are talking about money
Yeah.
because I have to raise the money. Ministry is not built on money, but you don't do much ministry if you don't have money. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's part of, there's a saying there that I
Right.
butchered. But there's a thing there of, boy, if we could tell those stories of faith, like
Yeah.
you're saying, let me tell you, God showed up. When he calls you to do something and you step out, you automatically go, well, that's half our income, God.
Yeah.
How are we going to pay rent? How are we going to get food? How are we going to, and we have a baby
Yeah.
coming? Like, how are we going to do it? And God still is faithful to say, oh, I've got all this.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm going to give you joy on top
Yeah.
of that.
In
And-
ways you could never, ever expect or write yourself, or plan.
Right.
And I think that's part of this series. There may be people out there watching this saying, I know what God's wanting me to do. Maybe it's missionary, evangelism, pastor, whatever it is. Maybe it's just doing a big, beautiful thing that you know is for God in his name. And there's a part of you that's saying, man, but I don't know how it's going to work out. What would you say to that person who is having that faith struggle of, how do you take the jump? How do you say, I'm going to do it no matter what? I don't think that was fair, Cara, for you just to do that.
You're like, go ahead.
Well, I mean,
let's let
you
DuWayne do that.
you had this experience too, because working for 2 years, like in a paper mill, and we both worked for 2 years and then decided to do Chi Alpha.
Yeah.
So I think we both at different times had to face that question.
Yeah.
And that's not a pre-planned question. Just
We're just throwing it at them now.
That's a very interesting question to ask. So while I was working in the industry, I was, I had this gut feeling of like, this is not where I needed to be. So I was praying about it, and it was like January, February, I don't remember, 2021. And God told me, listen, I have a question that I want you to answer yes to, but I'm not going to ask it until a year from now. All I want is for you to be ready to say yes. And that's all he told me. I was like, God, I'm right here. Like, ask me the question. I can handle it. Like, you don't have to give me this, like, year-long wait. And then I started panicking. I started going, like, maybe he's going to send me to Africa, and I'm going to have to sell my shoes, and, like, I'm just going to be homeless.
Shoes.
Of all the things.
I was, like, spiraling. I was, like,
Your
literally,
shoes
like...
are not that great to sell.
I don't know, but I was literally thinking, like, what is the worst case scenario thing that God is going to put me in for me to have to prepare to say yes to?
Right.
And so for that year, I didn't spiral as bad, but I started to, like, mentally prepare myself of, like, would I be able to say yes to God telling me to give up literally everything I've got to go into something completely out of the ordinary, and spend a lot of time fasting and praying. Spent a lot of time. I think I was doing my 1 Corinthians study. Then I was just taking a verse a day and just like pouring into that one verse, and that year was very transformative in like just looking at things that were in my control and being like, would I be able to let go? And at the end of that year, it was SALT, and it was a huge conference that we do in Chi Alpha. And I was praying, and God asked me, are you ready to give up everything you have and everything you are to follow me? And I was like, I think so, but it was immediately afterwards that I felt called to go and do the internship. And so, I don't know, it's a process. It's hard for you to give up everything. Because, like, we had just started dating, and so it started crossing my mind of, like, would I have to give her up too? Would I have to completely abandon this new relationship that I just found hope in? Would I have to give that up in order to go into the ministry? And but just knowing that, what gave me comfort was just knowing that, God was going to take care of it. Whatever I would give up, He would find a way to supply. When I gave up my job, He provided a way for me to raise funds. When I gave up my really nice house, He gave me an apartment to live in for really, really cheap. I immediately, I didn't even tell my parents first. I went straight to her and I was like, hey, this is what I feel like God's telling me to do. And she was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, okay, cool. God has provided her in my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's hard, but God will provide.
And I think we can say that. God will provide, God will provide. And it's almost like, just as a church, we have said it so much that we've lost faith. It just becomes so cliche, if I could say it like that. And just getting to hear your guys' testimony of like, no, God said it, and we took that leap. And God provided.
What stood out to me about your testimony there is that you weren't like maybe as bold as you maybe wanted to be in it. And I think that's so important for people to know that like not every time God calls you is your immediate response to be like, yeah, I can do it, God, like we're together and we got this. Like there's not always, like sometimes there is this like wavering, like I'm scared. And it's that like, okay, but are you still willing to take the scared step? And so like if your next thing that's coming for you guys out there is something that's scary, like do it scared, because like God doesn't let you fall, whether you're bold or whether you're
I'm
a little scared.
But God's not.
Right. Exactly. Like it's okay that I'm scared. Like I'm still gonna take the step and I'm still gonna do it. Like
I think it's that image of the little girl walking out in the dark who's, as long as she's got her dad's hand, he might have to drag her a little bit, but he's going to take care of her.
She's like, I'm not walking out there by myself.
I'll go. I'll go if you're going. So
also, speaking back to kind of what you were saying, I think we don't really realize the scope of how God will provide.
Until you're in it.
There's been months to where it's like we are so far in debt. Like, how are we going to be able to do this? And then just out of nowhere, like someone will be like, hey, I was praying and God told me to give you this cash, and it literally is the exact amount.
So many random blessings. And like exact amounts. It's like, oh, that's how much the bill was due.
Yeah, very specific.
Like that's the exact what
God
we
is
needed.
Precise.
Yeah. And so it's like we fail to really understand the scope of how much God is going to provide. And
I joke because we had a little old lady come and hand me money. And we were going through a real financial stress time. It is like, God will provide, but it would be nice if you'd hurry up. And we're kind of going through a stressful time. And it's this week that just was like, oh my gosh, if we just had X, Y, Z. And the next Sunday she came and she goes, here, God told me to give you this. Well, by this time, I'm past my storm. And I'm like, well, thank you so much. She goes, God told me to give it to you last week. And I was in there going, well, just... God bless you for giving, but I thought if you would have been obedient. But we do. There may be people who's watching this right now, and you just feel God kind of telling you to give. Maybe not to you guys. Maybe not to us. Maybe it's just to your church or another organization. Obedience and giving makes way for provision, and that just obedience makes way for provision. Your obedience to do Chi Alpha, like that's a career choice. That requires a huge sacrifice. Because, and I'm going to be honest, because I know how much you were making when you were at the paper mill. You was making a lot of money.
A lot.
It was stirring up jealousy in me.
It was so funny when we were dating. One day he was like, listen, I just want you to know I'm never going to tell you how much I'm making here until we're done. He was like, because if you know, I don't want you to be worried when we quit to do Chi Alpha. So he didn't tell me how much his salary was until we were doing Chi Alpha. But by that point, it was like God had already made a way, and we were like, oh, but it's so much cooler when it comes from God's hands than when it comes from a paycheck.
Right, when you're striving, especially when there's not the same amount of joy. Like, you're not finding the same amount of joy. Like, you didn't find the same amount of joy in the paper mill as you do at Chi Alpha.
Yeah, this is the best job I've ever had.
Oh, gosh,
I don't know what I would do without it, honestly.
with that, we'll get back to our notes because we're already almost 30 minutes in and we haven't even.
Yeah, let's go,
about that.
No, let's go straight to like what are like needs that you see like within like Chi Alpha that like people could help with or pray about or
Well, I think with college students, like a big need right now in churches is students just need like a community outside of just their peer group. So we love what we do with Chi Alpha. Like we love offering Bible study discussions. We love having board game nights and stuff like that. But we don't have like, I mean, we have our little boy running around. We don't have like a nursery, you know. We don't have like the older person who comes and tells you stories from the 50s or whatever, you know. And I think when students, especially when they're in a new place, far from their hometown, far from their families, like they need a diverse range of people to care about them. Like they need you to invite them to a meal at your house. They need to be challenged to volunteer, to serve in new capacities. You know, we're not like caring for widows with Chi Alpha. We're not like hosting funerals. We're not helping set up for weddings. So many things that churches do that I think students need the opportunity to learn and be around people in different capacities and see where God is like drawing out their gifts.
Right, absolutely.
Is super important. And I think also just like having that family connection, like they can have it with peers. When you have it in a church, like it sustains after college in a way that we can't. You know, we have alumni, and we love our alumni. I'm an alumni, but they need churches that are stable and reliable and that love them and care for them, even when they're gone for summer break or whatever. You know, like they need a place to be too.
Do you? I guess how many of your students that like come to like y'all's get-togethers and stuff? What do you think the percentage is that are also involved in a church outside of that, and how many are just getting all of their Jesus from you guys?
Yeah.
It's hard to say right now.
Yeah.
Because like y'all are an open door to church.
Yeah.
Like people who like maybe will feel like they can't go to church would come to a college hangout easier because it's not as like confrontational and you know.
It's hard to say right now because we're still trying to bring in new freshmen just because school's just started. And we usually don't really get to see what our average number is until mid-October. But as of like the end of last year, I think like 60 to 70% of our students were plugged into a church.
Pretty awesome.
A lot of the people that either don't have access to a church because they don't have a car, they don't drive, and their family isn't Christian, or they're still kind of on the fence about what they believe. And so, but the good majority are plugged into good churches. Most of them go to like Assemblies of God churches. We also we had some from Baptist. We had a kid that was leading a Bible study that was in an Orthodox church. And but the majority goes to HE, and then,
Awesome. And we have a lot of great churches in Tulsa that care for college students really well. I just think for the average person, it's just like, if you're in your church and you know of a college student, just inviting them into your life to like, you know, obviously we meet with them every week. You may not, I mean, you're not going to be able to see them every week and make plans or whatever. If you can, that's great. But I think just praying for them and thinking of them as not just seasonal members of the church, but like actual members of the church. They are young and they're figuring it out, but you should challenge them to volunteer. Like you should entrust them with opportunities and not be afraid that because like their attention span is less or something, they can't, you know, there's that whole stigma about the current generation, like can't focus or anything. But I think if you challenge them, they can do a lot more than you would think.
And I think we're seeing, with some of the churches we've talked to, we're seeing that there's a group of people that are just realizing there's a changing of the guard spiritually. And we're seeing wonderful Christians who are being taken home early or God is just moving them out of their position, and there's a younger group that's saying, we want to do something. And like you're saying, we don't need to be the people who wait till the last minute to hand the reins over. We need to be people who are constantly encouraging, lifting up, because that kid may only come to your church for the next year before they go to a different college or the next 2 years. But if you'll invest into them today,
Yeah.
you're planting seeds that will harvest in the kingdom of God somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And we need to be people who do that. So I would encourage, I'm going to team up with you guys on that and tell all those who are watching, get involved with, if there is a student around you going to college, encourage them to get involved in a local Chi Alpha, encourage them to get involved into a book study, bring them over to your house, love on them, encourage them. Because like you're saying,
family. Yeah.
they don't just need people their age. They need people
Yeah.
of every walk of life who can encourage them and inspire them
Yeah.
to reach for high standards.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I love that. Before,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, our last thing is like how people get involved. So we're obviously gonna share your giving link down below if they want to support you. What about like I guess if someone was wanting to become like a Chi Alpha volunteer or something, if this is on their heart and they want to get like really involved, how would they go about becoming a volunteer?
Yeah, I think the best way is to talk to a Chi Alpha director, talk to somebody who is on campuses. They would be able to figure out where you're at and where's the closest campus for you, get you plugged in. And we usually have like a leadership training course that we would probably walk you through. You probably wouldn't have to do as much as what we would make our students do, but we would just kind of show you, hey, this is how we do small group Bible studies. This is how we want to do one-on-ones, and these are the kind of goals that we have in mind.
And then you would do your, obviously, your background checks and
Of
other
course.
things like
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
I do want to put that disclaimer out because there are people watching like, well, I can do it. Well, they're going to do their due diligence. Chi Alpha is not some throw-together group. They are meticulous to make sure that they are background vetting their people and putting them in the right places. Yep. And so we definitely want, and if you're interested in that, we'll put your guys' contact information and you can message them directly and they'll get you in contact with whichever Chi Alpha director is of the college you want to go and help out at. But you know, you need to be doing stuff. You need to be moving for the kingdom of God. So how can we be praying for your impact? And even if it comes to funds, how do we pray for churches to open up to you and things like that? What are some things you want to see God do there?
You want to take this one?
Well, I mean, obviously we're always praying for new supporters, but not just supporters like financially, but supporters that really are invested in time and prayer for our students.
Invested in us.
Invested in us
we
and
need
our
prayer
family.
too, you know.
Our family, you know, we're figuring things out too. We're still in our 20s, like figuring out life, where to live, and all those things. So we have an amazing support group right now. Like we love our supporters. You guys were some of our first, actually. I think our first supporters. So you guys are like core to that, and we're just so grateful. Like the finances, the provision, God takes care of it. And so, you know, if you feel moved to give, of course, our giving stuff will probably be out there. I think praying for us and praying for our students right now, of course, is a really tense time on campus.
Right.
I think a lot of students feel very, they're very spiritually open, and I think it just takes like one or two brave moments to get plugged into a group, and they can experience life change. And so just praying for bravery on the part of students to like trust us a little bit, to show up, to go to coffee, to have a conversation. And I have talked to so many students just this semester that are like, I never tell people this much about my life, and for some reason I just am like pouring my heart out to you, and it's the Holy Spirit's just moving so powerfully to soften and open hearts. So I think praying with us for that, and praying to raise up leaders. We really are trying to raise up student leaders. We are so focused on being like student-led. We want students leading Bible study. We want students to disciple, raise up other disciples. So praying that students would be empowered to not just be discipled, but learn how to disciple, to go through leadership, to lead Bible studies, to reach other students is a huge thing right now. So,
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that this has encouraged you. Is there anything else we were missing that you guys want to cover before we get off?
Ooh.
Now that we're 38, does this say 38 minutes?
Yeah, it does.
Longest episode ever. Goes.
sorry.
It's us. Is he likes to talk too?
Well, it's because I'm passionate about this. Like, and like you were saying a minute ago, right now, college campuses is the front line. It's one of the ground zeros when it comes to spiritual warfare against the next generation. And you guys are being there, being a family to those who need it. You're reaching out to the misfit, the ones who feel like they're isolated, the ones who feel like nobody understands them, and you're giving them a place to belong. You can't, it's huge. It's ginormous. And so we're proud to be a part of that. We're proud to support it. And we want to encourage you guys to get involved some way, somehow, because it is important. This next generation needs to see the generations before stand up and say, you're worth investing into. And so if this is speaking to your heart, we want you to follow that link underneath to give to them, or find a Chi Alpha near you can give to. I'm sure they have a general account they can just give to also. But with that, guys, thank you so much for coming and sharing your heart and encouraging us. We hope that this just blesses people who are watching, and let them know that missions is so vital in the body of Christ. And it's not just going over to Africa.
Selling your shoes.
There's missions here too.
Even if you have to sell your shoes here. With that, thanks for watching, guys. We hope that this has encouraged you, inspired you, and if you need to reach out to us or them, feel free to. May God bless you and continue to lift up those who are on the missions field proclaiming the gospel of Jesus Christ. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us for this podcast. I want to let you know that every one of these that we're going to be interviewing, if you'll look in the comments or in the description of these videos, you're going to see their links, their giving links, ways you can team up with them in their websites. We ask that you prayerfully consider going to those and looking and seeing. None of these people asked us to do this. We just really want to give an opportunity for the people in the body of Christ to find places to invest in missions. And so I want to encourage you with DuWayne and Cara, go find their link that should be below or in the description of the video, and pray to God how you can help financially support them, or pray for them, or even go and help them working alongside of them. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.